What's up guys, Garrett from Gun Gamers going over what tools I bring with me to the airsoft field. Now these are not tools that I bring on the field with me for field expedient repairs and things like that, but I'll use these for staging area or in the hotel room the night before a game to make any adjustments or fixes that I need to on my guns before I take them over to get chronoed or things like that. There's duplicates in here, there's a couple of different sizes of everything, and I'll try to point that out as best I can. But ultimately, this is for inspiration for people to build their own toolkits to bring with them. I see a lot of people that show up, all of a sudden their gun works, and then they're stuck. So I loan people some of these tools, but I don't touch on all of them. With that, let's dive down into and see what's inside my tool bag. Alright, so we'll start with the side pouch right here. Open that up. This is generally for cleaning supplies. I have a couple different weights of murder oil. I use generally the light and heavy for gas blowback rifles, medium for everything else. I have a couple of Q-tips to be able to clean different rail surfaces, or I can cut the heads down to fit into narrow spaces to do cleaning or remove dirt and grease. I also keep a toothbrush for heavier cleaning. This is a new one. As you've seen, I've had to replace mine. I generally start with a new toothbrush. I do not use an old one that I used to brush my teeth with because that's gross. Other things I keep in here are a bunch of different plier sets. You can see all the heads are shaped differently to help for reassembly or to maybe pick out different pieces and things like that. Also keep a small bag of BBs for testing if I'm allowed to in a friend's house, or sometimes I'll sneak it in the hotel room. But this is to supplement the existing supply that I already have, and these are non-bios, just in case if I'm having problems with bios, I can help diagnose it if it's a bio BB issue. Also keep a metal propane adapter. While I generally use green gas for all my guns, it doesn't hurt to have a propane adapter that I can borrow somebody's can of propane to test stuff with. I also keep a set of screwdrivers. These, you can see, are really small. There are a couple different sizes. These help get into some of the more narrow places to get to adjustment screws and things like that. Also keep a set of dental picks to reach in and pluck out pieces, or if something breaks and I need to chip pieces of it out. I've actually used to chip BBs out of a hop-up unit with these, so these are really handy. And you buy them as a set. That's it for cleaning tools. I generally try to do that stuff before I get to the field, but sometimes you have to do it while you're there. Let's move on to the next side of the bag. Other side of this bag here, this is generally my spare parts. I will take all this stuff out, and then as I put it away, I will tell you what I have in here. So the first thing I keep is number 41 O-rings are for my 40mm grenades. They're the CO2 matrix ones, which I'll do a video about at some point. But sometimes the O-ring launches itself out the front, so I keep a spare set for that. This is my anti-fog solution. This is a set of New View. And I keep it along with 2 microfiber cloths to clean my eye protection before a game. Because I run a lot of gas blowback rifles, I keep a lot of generic gas blowback rifle parts. So I've got a complete M4 carrier, a complete M4 trigger box. Also keep an extra nozzle because this is cross-compatible with the M4, the MSK, and the L85. In addition to that, I also keep a set of hop-up rubbers just in case I need to swap out an upgraded one with a stock one to see if it's giving me some problems. Also keep a internal spring and pin set specific for the WEM4. And then I also keep a couple of pins and springs for real AR-15s as backups. Because WEM4s have feed lips on the top of the magazines, I keep an extra set of feed lips because the nozzle is going to be pulling the BB out the front, and these will sometimes wear out. So they're complete with feed lips, route buckings, and followers for the springs. So I keep that in this bag. Also keep an extra end pass just in case I need to swap it out. A BB loader to quick load magazines. I found that this tends to work better than the pistol type push button speed loaders. This can load 15 rounds at a time in a gas rifle magazine. Works plenty fine when I'm in the staging area. Out on the field I will use one of those pistol speed loaders. But I keep a spare that's separate from the one that I keep with my BBs as a just in case. Also keep a couple of end pass wrenches inside this little baggie that has a Yankee Hill machine card in it, but I also keep a couple of small Allen wrenches for the hop-up unit and a spare O-ring. This is a spare baggie of seals and things for the Thunderbee grenades. I generally don't use them, but you never know. It comes with it, so you might as well bring it with you on the field. And last, as far as the loose parts are concerned, I keep an extra stiffy knob. This stiffy knob is used for adjusting the hop-up on the M4 that has the set screw above it. Airsoft Fats or ASP also makes one for the VFC M4 that's rear adjust as well. So this is a backup to the one that I keep on my gun or in my gear when I'm out on the field. As you can see, haven't had to use it yet. Last couple things I keep up top here. Firstly are a set of pin punches in a variety of different sizes. These all came as a set. So you can see all the different sizes and diameters. They are useful for obviously punching out pins and seating stuff. When you have to seat a pin that's inside, recessed in somewhere, you can use a punch to be able to reach it and hit it with a hammer instead of hitting it just with the hammer. I also keep, because again, I run a lot of gas blowback rifles, a valve key. You can pick these up for about 20 bucks and they work on every single release valve and input valve on the market. It's a really handy tool and it's saved my butt a few times when I've had to retighten a valve. Last thing I keep on this side is a CO2 mag tester for the WEM4s. I'm actually surprised more people haven't come up with this, but it's a item that allows you to use green gas in place of a CO2 cartridge so you're not wasting a CO2 cartridge. So, alright, main compartment full of main tools. Biggest thing I could definitely not harp enough about is a set of Allen keys. These are both metric and English. I would actually recommend getting a set that goes smaller than this. This only goes to 2.5 millimeter. As far as the metric is concerned, the English is plenty fine. But a lot of airsoft stuff is metric, a lot of real steel stuff is English, so having both is going to be handy out on the field. Also keep a full-size screwdriver with a flathead and Phillips head screwdriver bits. This one has 4 different sizes, 2 of the flathead, 2 of the Phillips head. And I keep this for everything else that isn't covered by a smaller screwdriver. In addition to that, I keep a much more larger variety pack of screwdrivers. So this has all of the Torx, all of the flatheads, all the really small hex sizes, and it also comes with a pair of tweezers. Next, of course, the armorer's wrench, the favorite tool of anybody that uses an M4 to take barrel nuts off, take castle nuts off, things like that. It's also got a flathead screwdriver on this Tapco and a bottle opener for beer. In addition to that, as a spare backup, I keep the wrench that comes with the WEM4. Again, I use a lot of gas blowback rifles, so I just took this out of the box, threw it in the bag. It's flat. It's really light, doesn't add much weight. Set of pliers is very handy, of course. These ones are adjustable for different sizes. These are for really stubborn screws. You notice I don't keep a set of hex wrenches, like sockets. This takes care of all of that. Next up, we have a strap wrench. I use the strap wrench for things that either require a special tool that I don't have, or if I'm trying not to damage the surface finish. Some free float rail systems require you to spin the entire rail system. So this is nice to get a better hold of it and get a little bit more torque on it to tighten it correctly. I keep a flashlight. This is one of those novelty flashlights that also has a magnet on the front to pick up stuff that falls down or gets stuck someplace in a tight position. But I keep the flashlight just in case I need to see someplace that's dark, inside of a buffer tube, inside of a gun, things like that, or if it's dark outside or getting close to dusk. But the magnet is also very helpful too. I would definitely recommend, if you can't get both built in together, getting two separate tools would be really handy. Next up, I keep a set of files with me, just in case I need to fit two parts. Like if I buy a part at the field in order to fit it onto my gun, and it doesn't quite fit right, I can make it fit. Generally, I try to avoid using files as much as possible because once you file something, it's almost a permanent modification. But sometimes it needs that little bit of assistance and parts don't fit 100% right. These files can help me out with that. Next up is a machinist hammer. Now the machinist hammer is kind of like a dead blow in the fact that it has a impact absorbing material for both sides of the hammerhead. The one side is brass for your steel pieces. It does not mar up the brass. It does not mar up the steel that you're hitting it against. And then the nylon end is for aluminum. As you can see, this one gets the most use for me because a lot of airsoft stuff is not made out of steel. So the nylon end is really useful so that way I'm not marring up the finish or anything like that. Carry a tube of white lithium grease. This is a good substitute for gear grease. Just use a little bit to lubricate everything inside your gearbox, and I also use this for gas blowback rifle base plate seals. Ones that are not like your nozzle or anything like that, that aren't moving around, the ones that are fixed in place. This can help in case O-ring is deformed in some way. Sometimes this can help fix the mag. Keep an extra set of zip ties just in case you need to hold something in place. A couple different colors. Generally use the black ones, but it's 4 different sizes in here. Next up, proprietary barrel nut wrenches. I keep a Daniel Defense one for the RIS-2, Mark 18, Omega X. They all take the same barrel nut, which is really nice. So I keep a wrench for that. And then this one is for the Veltor Weapon Systems Viz upper receiver. So I keep that, both these in here in addition to the 2 Armor's wrenches. One of the last tools I have is the Magpul MOE shotgun 4-end wrench for the Remington 870. This is just kind of a backup. Again, never really had to use this, but in case you encounter someone with a shotgun that needs to take the 4-end apart, this wrench is a lifesaver to be able to have. Last thing I have in here, this is sort of a specialized tool, but it is a trigger guard pin remover. And this, you can see I have some tape over the end of it to not mar up a receiver, but this helps remove the rear pin in those little ears that stick out of the bottom of the lower receiver. This helps so that way you don't break those ears off. It allows you to support the trigger guard on the lower receiver on both sides, so when you drive the pin in, you're not hitting it with a hammer and actually breaking them off. You're actually pushing and supporting it from both sides so it doesn't get broken. This was probably one of the coolest things that I ever saw. I picked this up on Brownells for like 30 bucks, but really, really useful tool. That's it for the main compartment. Let me put all this stuff back in and I'll go over the 2 smaller side compartments. All right, I've got some electrical tape on the mesh pocket on the front here, a couple different colors, black, blue, red, and white. Inside of a zipper pouch right here, I have an extra set of metric and English Allen keys. This is an old set that I used to use, and now it's relegated as my spare. So I keep that in there. On the opposite side, I keep more oil. This is a lightweight shock oil. I can't remember what weight it is because I don't have it labeled and I don't have the original bottle that I put it in. But I also keep Airsoft Innovations GBB gun oil as a backup to all the different oils that I have. Lastly, I keep some Teflon tape in this mesh pocket for sealing up magazines that have stubborn O-rings that do not want to seal. There's another zipper pouch right on the top here, and that is sort of my miscellaneous tools, or at least the smaller tools. I keep a feeder to load pistol mags with a pistol type speed loader, an extra feeder for the WEM4 mags or any of the WE open bolt type mags, a loader for the KWA NS2 system, and then the tool that I just dropped is a small wrench. Let's see if I can get that. There we go. A small wrench for the LM4/KWA hop-up unit. So, that's all the tools that I keep in this bag. Alright guys, that's it. Those are the tools and things that I bring with me in my personal tool bag. You do not have to put something together this large. A general purpose pouch works just fine. It could be something relatively small. You don't have to have as many tools as I have. I lend some of these tools out to my friends or some people that I know in order to make adjustments to their guns before they go onto the field, or if they need to tear something apart. Hopefully this inspires you to put together your own personal toolkit. Make sure to like, favorite, subscribe this video, hit the bell icon for more alerts from Gun Gamers. I'm Garrett, and I'll see you out on the field.